Enjoy the show. Oh boy, 5 o'clock. Time to clock off and grind this season's Battle Pass. Wow, there's some premium currency in this Battle Pass, and it only takes a 30-hour grind to unlock it. Wow, that's so worth it. I'll be able to get that $5 skin for free in no time. Hey, my name's John, and that might have sounded pretty familiar to some with you. So much so that if you played any live service game within the past 5 years, chances are it came along with the Battle Pass, be it Fortnite, League of Legends, or even Dead by Daylight. And the practice is to say controversial, at least, with some people swearing it off as an extremely predatory way of monetizing content, and others saying it's an extremely attractive model for players that allows lower spenders to grind out some rewards. And it should be no surprise that for most people, no matter where they stand, chances are they've got a hot take on the practice, be it loving it or hating it. We all know the common tropes with battle passes, such as the free and premium tracks, levels to cater to whales, and a good dose of FOMO to make it all extra engaging. And as for someone like me, who started getting into games during the early 2000s, seeing the switch from studios releasing full paid games to free-to-play live service ones has got to be one heck of a stark contrast. So after going through, looking, and comparing different battle passes between games, it's been fascinating to see all the tricks the designers put in to keep you not only spending, but more importantly engaged. But it seems like no matter what we do, these passes aren't going away anytime soon. So the least we can do is do our best to make ourselves aware of the tricks that they use to keep us hooked. This is Battle Passes, the quest for your time. The year was 2013. Vine was just getting started, MOBAs were the hot new genre at the time, and at a small indie company named Valve, they were looking to host the largest esports tournament for the 3rd year in a row, which at the time already had a prize pool somewhere in the millions. So Valve was looking for new ways to fund this tournament. You see, at the time, esports were still a relatively minor part of the gaming community, and outside of certain games and regions like StarCraft in Korea, it was really only ever known to only the most niche of players. And for Valve, they were working on a way to not only fund the tournament, but to also get the community more engaged. So they released the first ever compendium, which was just a bundle that gave both a cosmetic reward, with 25% of the revenue going to the tournament itself. It was based on a crowdfunding model, in which depending on the funding for the tournament would unlock more and more stretch goals. Everything from, well, you guessed it, more cosmetic rewards, to being able to pick what the next hero was. But you'll notice that there's something not quite fundamentally right, something that's missing. Progression. After all, this seems more like a Kickstarter campaign than it does a modern day battle pass, and luckily for you, Valve didn't disappoint. Seeing the success of the 2013 compendium, which raised an eye-watering $1.2 million, they wanted to replicate the same level of success for the 2014 one. But this time, rather than a simple single tier just pay and get the rewards, they wanted to add some form of progression. So they introduced a compendium level system that went from 1 to 100 with repeating rewards onwards. Okay, so we're getting closer and closer, but a progression system isn't much of a system if you can't progress, right? And for Valve, you had to collect these battle points from either making correct predictions for, the tournament that this thing was funding, or directly from the store itself. You could also get them from drops, but with only dropping 25 points at a time and needing 100 per level, yeah, good luck with that one. And with this, the 2014 compendium was even more successful than the 2013 one, this time raising $3 million in the prize pool money. So I'm gonna fast forward 2015, where we got the addition of challenges that you can complete in-game to earn rewards, and focus instead on 2016, where the compendium would be officially renamed to what we now know today as the Battle Pass, with in-game challenges being able to directly progress your pass, and a way of progressing to get more rewards. It seemed that this was a more concrete version of what we now have today. And sure, there were countless games along the way that had tried their best to emulate the success that Dota had, but it wasn't until Fortnite that the Battle Pass frenzy really took off, with a free track and a premium paid one available for purchase with V-Bucks. And with this, the age of the modern Battle Pass as a primary monetization tool was ushered right in. So seeing the success of this, other live service games grappling with dwindling subscription models or a crackdown on loot boxes were quick to jump on the system as well. Some done very well, while others so unoriginal you'd wonder why they even had them in the first place. And it's been like that ever since. Okay, battle passes are definitely pretty common, but saying they're all the same is akin to saying how you had a bad experience eating at one fast food place and now you're swearing that they're all bad for good. But the truth is that most games, usually bigger titles, have different levels of rewards and sometimes even different structures. Still though, most battle passes feature a similar hallmark of features that, by this point, I'm sure you're already all too well familiar with. So take a shot every time the game you're currently playing has it implemented. Some type of rewards track, usually both a premium and free-to-play one, a leveling or progression system, an endless but lower value repeating rewards upon reaching max level, the ability to purchase the pass levels, a bundle that includes the pass and levels at a small discount, daily or weekly missions that you can complete to grind pass levels, exclusive content from the pass that you can't get anywhere else, early access to content that you can pay early for. Man, oh man, that's a lot. But I'm willing to bet that the pass you're currently grinding for includes at least half of what I just mentioned. Now, whether they're entirely cosmetic or have an in-game effect, there's really no denying how effective they are. And you're either really in love with the system, or an avid hater declaring them as just another way for these studios to feed on your time and money with these greedy tactics. Picture this. Your favorite game just released a new massive patch with likely some new hero, champion, operator, or whatever other mechanics that catch your eye. You decide to try it out, and because you're already a fan of this game, you're already more than likely to enjoy the patch. You see that there's a new battle pass and decide for yourself to get it because you like the rewards, only to find yourselves a couple weeks later being burnt out, but still logging in and grinding just so that you can get the sweet rewards, only to quit once you get them and to repeat it over and over. Even better if you're cycling between a few other games with their own battle passes. And for those of you that felt a bit too close to home with that, I get it, we've all been through that, me included. It can often feel like we're forced to play these games that we might not even enjoy anymore past a certain point with the sole intention of just unlocking a reward. Kinda like a job. Except we pay for the privilege to have this job. And all the psychological tricks that these passes employ and copy from one another makes them all so much more effective. So maybe it's best we take a look, so we can figure out why these passes make the games feel like jobs, and why we can't stop playing. Before I start talking about why they're so effective, I just want to point this out. So far, I've been railing on battle passes a lot, and to be fair, they kinda deserve it. But hear me out. When I say that done well, battle passes can be great for everyone involved. And battle passes, unlike the more evilly wailing mechanic that replaced them, loot boxes, is much more justifiable depending on how it's implemented. And at its core universally, what makes a battle pass good can be answered by one simple question: am I getting good value? Now, I'm not going to say I deserve a PhD in economics for pointing out the perceived idea of value, especially over a video game, but think back to if you ever bought a battle pass before, or even contemplated one by looking at what it offers. Chances are you were just thinking of one thing: how much am I going to get out of this pass before it's over? Essentially, how much value am I getting with the pass, factoring in the rewards, and more importantly, how much is it going to cost in both time and money? Going back to before, most battle passes are played in progress, and because we start off generally liking the game that we play first, we tend to write that off as more of a positive than a negative at the start. And more often than not, burnout is the only real outcome from grinding too many pass levels, especially true since most passes have some of their more sought after rewards locked behind the highest tiers. And these passes are reminiscent of a crypto game at times, often having a play to earn type of feel to them, where just as in a buffet, we're trying to squeeze every last inch of value from what we paid for as a way of justifying costs. Even if the pass wasn't that expensive in the first place, the rewards aren't that good, or if it takes, an insane amount of time. All for the sake of just trying to justify the purchase in the first place. Because let's face it, we all agree on the idea of value, which is at the core behind the psychology of all these battle pass systems, and the engaging nature of some of these passes featuring time lock progressions such as dailies or weeklies make it so that players are often forced to artificially increase the play count of a game, especially true for multiplayer competitive games, which having more players often leads to having more fair matchmaking for the developers. But the biggest offender in battle passes is the exclusivity of some of the rewards, and for free-to-play games with cosmetic-only battle passes, this is especially the case. Take for example the Dota 2020 Battle Pass, hailed as one of the best examples of a really good battle pass with great rewards designed to FOMO you right back in. In Dota, there are these skins called Arcanas, which are equivalent to a complete visual and audio upgrade. And it just so happens that Valve released not one, not two, but 3 different Arcanas, which were the best we've had so far, in addition to 2 completely different and exclusive personas at the time. If you didn't get the gist, skin very, very good, but also very, very exclusive. So you need to not only grind the pass, but also to pay and wail for them. And to show that it worked, remember how I said earlier a few years ago we just raised $3 million for the International? Yeah, well, now it's 10 times as much at $40 million. And while FOMO isn't exclusive to battle passes, it is one of the many ways that it sucks you back in. Before only with your money, but now also your time. Honestly, I want to tell you that these tactics don't work, but for many of us, me included, know that when you're into a game, it's way too easy to justify their purchase, only to then develop a pay-to-earn mindset where we feel like we have to claw every dollar of value that we paid for. So it's unlikely that battle passes are going away anytime soon, because they, among other things, do have some genuine reasons as to why they're so good for both players and studios alike. And they've come a long way from the early days of the Dota Compendium and expanded into, well, quite possibly every modern live service game there is, ranging from ones that offer an exclusive in-game advantage to those that only offer cosmetics. And because of that, it really seems like it's hard to just simply compare them without actually playing the game. From evolving as a simple way to fund early esports tournaments, to now incentivizing people to not only fork over their money but also their time, it's pretty obvious that this practice has clearly evolved to become a staple in these games, and like it or not, it's here to stay. But look, the choice ultimately falls under you, and with that, the most impactful thing you can do is vote with your wallet, and more importantly, your time. As always, thanks for watching, until next time.